Hello, today is Sunday the 5th of August 2018 and I am somewhere up from the Oberaletschhütte, which is the glacier that you can see here. Well, actually it's the glacier that flows downstream, and it's very early in the morning. Well, not very early, but it's early in the morning, and last night I hiked up from Brig, which it was a 20-something kilometer hike, but it was quite hard. It was 2,900 meters of altitude gain. It wasn't all up, it was a bit serrated, so you go up and then you go down a little bit, like 300 meters, and then you go up again and things like that. Last night I slept at Oberaletschhütte, which is there, and they have this kind of like a platform thing going here. So this is where, I think this is one of the places where they land the helicopter, either here or the next one. But both before and after the hut, it's basically pretty wild. So yeah, this is kind of like the this is like the better version of trail. And then there's also like the worst version of trail that I'm not gonna show you, which is mostly like chained up. It's on one of those like rock faces, and it's basically just chains, and there's a small ledge where you can walk. So an interesting thing to know. All right, so this goes to that other glacier, and let me think. If we were to go up there somewhere, we would end up at right there. We're in a parallel valley, a parallel glacial valley to the Oberaletsch glacier, which is the one where I hiked to Concordia Hut, maybe like at the beginning of middle of June, so a month and a half ago. And an interesting thing to notice is that, see, like the way the mountain looks, like there's this not so steep sloping portion, and then there's a cutoff point, an inflection point, and then it goes almost straight down. So almost 100 years ago the glacier was at the level of the hut, so basically all of this I would have stood almost parallel to the, almost at the altitude of the surface of the glacier, but they're melting. I mean, all the glaciers in the Alps are melting, so that's not necessarily like a big secret. So it went down, and as you can see, the glacier is covered in tons and tons of moraine. So this is actually all ice underneath, but it's and you can see this, like where the flowing water carved a small trench in the ice. But the ice is actually covered in rock, which concentrated at the surface as the glacier melted. So there's that. Okay, so I slept here last night after a fairly grueling hike. So I started at 9 a.m. and then I hiked all the way until 6 p.m. But 6:30 actually. So I just made it to the hut like 20 minutes before dinner, and the main reason I came here was because I wanted to escape the heat. It is unbearably hot in Zurich. It was more than 30 degrees Celsius every day for the past, I don't know, like 2 weeks. And when it's so hot, I start getting super sick because I cannot eat and I cannot sleep, and I get weaker and weaker. And then I just get like more angry, and yeah, like it's just it just goes downhill from there. So I really wanted to sleep somewhere where it's cold, so because I don't have air conditioning. So I climbed up here. It was 10 degrees last night, so I could sleep well. I actually slept really well. Like I slept 13 hours straight. Actually, I woke up in the middle of the night and I went out, and you could see the stars and like a tiny bit of the Milky Way. It was very beautiful. So up through here, through this trail that goes there, you can go to Finsteraarhorn bivouac, I think, and you can also do the same thing like after the hut. I'm gonna show you a little bit where I went. Yesterday, which way I came yesterday. So I was a bit worried about water, but some of the streams that I crossed were running dry. But there's a couple of streams, maybe like 100 meters away on the other side of the hut, where you can get water to drink. This bathtub, the water here is not drinkable. You cannot drink it. You will get sick because it comes from the pipes, and the pipes are very old and they have bacteria. So, but you can drink water from the river. It's safe, no problem. So this is the way I came, like this trail, and I'm gonna show you a little bit. So, yeah. Oh look, another. Okay. So yeah, that's the trail where I came from, and it goes along that face. It gets much steeper. It goes along that face, and then there's a bridge, and you hop onto the other side of the glacial valley and you keep going. So you basically walk along the glacier for most of the trip. And yeah, so you can also come here in winter, but in winter there's nobody at the hut, so you have to have you have to arrive early and be prepared. And it's a bit more difficult because the weather is a bit tricky and it might get cold, and like here, yeah, like you have to prepare well. It's not like a walk in the park like it is in summer. So in winter there's no liquid water, so you either melt snow, or there is that little lake there, like a puddle, and that's where you can get water in winter. You just have to like break through the surface and get water from there. And yeah, oh my god, it was so nice and cold, and now I can't believe like I'm going back to 30 degrees. And it promised to let up a little bit. It promised to get a bit colder towards the end of the week, but then they also promised this last week and it didn't happen, so I'm not sure what to believe. Yeah, it's just insane. I've never really liked heat, but it feels like the older I get, first of all, the worse the heat gets, and second of all, like the worse my reaction gets. Okay, well, thanks for bearing with me. I think I'm gonna sit here for like a few more minutes and then get ready, and then I'm gonna start hiking back. Although, to be honest, I'm not in a huge hurry. Okay, see you later.